Let's go. NRL Fantasy Round 22 is in the books. And we got Ryan Pappenhausen back based on this picture. And Nakora, Chris, Dream Buller. It's pretty uneventful outside of Big Paps coming back. So how you guys doing? We're going to talk about team lists today. We'll talk about a bunch of different stuff in terms of buys. Really, this week it's pretty straightforward. It's, if you've got Newcastle players, which most of you guys don't. Some of you have Dan Gagai. I've got Kai Pierce-Paul. Those guys are on a buy. You've got Jaram Hughes, who's an easy sell. Fiketti, who's quite sellable depending on team list as well. And then you're just filling 17, right? So minimize your trades for that 17. Pretty straightforward move here. Now, just quickly, let's say hey to everyone. Olu, not sure why. I was just learning how to make a bloomin' onion before this, mate. Let me know how to do it because those all Outback Steakhouse ones in like 2005 were unbelievable. T-Banger, how you doing, man? Good to see you. My main question from Olu, trade Hughes out for either Campbell or Katoa. If you need the wing fullback depth, go with Campbell. Campbell's the better value option. Katoa is the better scorer. Isaiah Yeo is a big yes from me. Trading Hughes to Katoa and captaining Herbie. Oh, Captain Herbie is interesting. Longy plus TLT equals popcorn, man. I got to start sending out some popcorn to you guys soon. Try and get a popcorn sponsor for next year and just give some of those out for free or something like that. Good to see you, John. Herbie captain the play. You guys are mad. Herbie captain. 20 green dots from the Perth Bears. That's good. Good to see you, John. Hugh, let's plow. Let's go. Incognito is Haas worth holding on to? Yes, 100%. As long as he's starting, as long as he's playing, you hold Payne Haas for sure. Keep Garrick and Marky Mark for the season's 19th, man. Garrick has a really good last 4 games of the year. So I think he will heat up in the last 4 games. But the last 2 to 3 weeks and the next 2 weeks, I had sort of penciled him in for some really low scores. But once we hit that final 4 weeks, he's going to be pretty good, I would expect. In the last few here, Liam, great to see you, bro. Good to see you. Casual Jay, we're in a cash league together, me and Jay. And we're sitting in 7th and 8th place right now with the top 2 points scored. So one more week and then finals. Hopefully we can both make it. Good to see you, bro. Butters, how you doing, man? Dan had Hughes. Oh, if only you had Sam Hughes. That's the Hughes that you wanted. We didn't know it, but that was the Hughes we wanted. Up the wires. I'm gonna speed these up now. Have you had a haircut? I trimmed it up. It was all getting a bit rugged. So yeah, it's a bit scrappy. But yeah. I was just trimming up a bit. Then was Fins TM going straight into my team. 3 tries is coming. Yol TMM if he starts, yeah. In fact, I'll just quickly hit these and I'll just quickly check on Tamari Martin because there was a bit of chat that potentially Tanner Boyd could be out, missing a game, or potentially being dropped. That just keeps sort of popping up, and I'm not really seeing any proof of it too much here. So if we get Tamari Martin in, he's a great cash out option. We'll also talk about Tyron Wishart today as well. What feed is that called? Fiketti bench. Yeah. Fiketti. Oh, Hash Tavita's out. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right, easy. Yeah, let's go through these teams then. Let's start ripping in, guys, because we got a bunch of games to talk about. So first up, we have the Eels v the Storm. And for Parramatta, it's Josh Papali at fullback, Lomax, Panasini, Russell, Adokar. Then we have Hawkins and Moses in the halves. For the forward pack, here's Hopgood, Smith, Barlow. Then we have Geimer, Williams, Walker. Interchange, we have De Silva, Moretti, Dury, and Tuavidi. For the Storm, Ryan Pappenhausen returns. Then we have Grant Anderson, Howarth, Meany, Coates. In the halves, we've got Munster back into the team. Beast mode Munster incoming. Tyron Wishart, decent shout as well. Forward pack is Tokamanu, Grant, King, Blore, Katoa, Kamitha. And then we got Pezzett, Lasardi, Garlic, and Joe Chan. So for Parramatta, look, Josh Papali is still a viable cash out option if you want to go that way. The 38 points last week in a game where he played quite well, made the line break, all that sort of thing. It's not something to write home about. I don't think he's going to be a special fantasy producer. So I wouldn't tear your team apart to get him, and I wouldn't rush to get him unless you really need the cash out. So I think he's a tool you can use, but not a must-have option for you. Then we've got some other options for Parramatta. And sorry, I'm just gonna A wild dog coming around, so I'm going to bring her up too. But yeah, for Parramatta, Zach Lomax is not a bad pod. So not a great score last week, but 2 tries is pretty favourable. And when Moses came back, Lomax was getting a lot of quality ball. So if you can get back to those strong base stats there to go with a couple of tries, then we're in a pretty good spot with Zach Lomax. Same as Penasini. Pretty cheap price, about 380K for Penasini. So if you're desperate for a cheap center, Penasini's not a bad shout. You can roll. You can roll. You've done your bit. Then we've got Hawkins really quiet. Hawkins scored like 6 points last week, so don't jump on him. Mitch Moses scored really poorly last week, but played good in real life. So again, one that just keep an eye on him. Probably more an interest point for next year, I would say. Forward pack here, Jermaine Hopgood, if you're desperate, is a great rated pod there. So if you want to pod up, you can go Hopgood. You can go Podgood. Hop pod. We'll figure out a name for it. Junior guy Charlie Geimer is playing 80 minutes. He's a reasonable option as well. Jack Williams, there's not too much to talk about here for Parramatta. There's plenty of guys that can fit your team if you're desperate, but they're not my top tier acquisitions. In terms of the Storm here, Ryan Pappenhausen is going to be a bit of a pod down the stretch. If you've held Pappenhausen this long, you're going to hope for a big score against Parramatta. If you don't have Pappenhausen, I wouldn't rush to buy him. I just worry about that calf issue. They've shown they're willing to give him time and rest. And if that flares up again, that would be bad. If you have him in your team, you're just going to stick with him at this stage. For the rest of the Storm backline here, I don't think Cam Munster gets the biggest uptick from no Jarom Hughes. So, like Munster, I've had a look at the numbers, and historically, he doesn't bump up when Hughes is out. I think he's going to have a good run home in general. That's why I've kept him in my side. But I don't think the Hughes factor is a big deal for him. The two guys that really impacts here are Tyron Wishart and Harry Grant. So Tyron Wishart obviously goes into the starting side. Actually, I just want to touch on. Let me just grab the numbers here because if we can just grab Wishart's average as a starter, let's just get these numbers because we want to sort of know what we're dealing with here. So when Wishart plays, let's go over 70 minutes. Yeah, these are majority. Let's go 5/8, right? So over 70 minutes at 5/8, playing full game at 5/8. He's got a 47 average, including pretty good try scoring rate, a bit of goal kicking as well, about a goal a game, good defensive work rate, so about 24 tackles a game, 100 meters a game, very little kicking, which is interesting. Now, when you put him next to Munster, he plays with Munster. That was one game with a 52. He grabbed a try against the Eels, actually, funnily enough. And if you add the halfback scores, at halfback, it was a 37, a 65, and a 45. So pretty broad spread of scores there. Kick meters, when he played next to Munster at the halfback spot, which is what we're seeing here, were much higher. So they were his big kick meter games where he was averaging about 200 kick meters a game as opposed to 70. So for sort of Tyron Wishart there, I'm probably going to say you project him out to be sort of a mid to high 40s guy down this stretch with the potential for big upside attacking days. So this Parramatta game being one of those games that could be a big attacking day for Tyron Wishart. Definitely a viable option. And if it suits your plans, I've got no reason why you wouldn't want to get Tyron Wishart in your fantasy side. So yeah, that's going to be a decent option there. For Jarom Hughes, he's definitely a sell. He's out for a long time here. For the forward pack, Harry Grant's the other one that gets the uptick there. So Jarom Hughes is such a dominant playmaker. And the big thing about Jarom Hughes and the way he plays is he plays very direct footy. So he straightens things up. He runs the ball hard. He runs about 120 meters a game when he's on. But also his playmaking style, it really helps Eli Katoa because he's taking the ball so direct and so straight and then popping out the back and doing that kind of thing. So what my expectation here, and it's backed up by the fact that Grant did go so well last week, is that Grant will take a lot more of that role. So he will hold the ball a lot longer, take the ball to a line a lot more, run the ball quite a bit more too. And we saw that last week. I think we're going to see that down the stretch as well. So if you want to pot up with Harry Grant, I'm a big fan of that move too. Now, for my fantasy side, I'm tossing up two potential moves this week. Either one trade for Ketty to Galvin, or there's a little part of me that's tossing up two trades for Ketty and Latu Finu for Wishart and Harry Grant. And then I have the Wishart, Grant, and Munster combo for a very cheap price too, which I'm I'm pondering. I'm considering. I think it could be quite nuclear down the stretch. I don't think all of them get a rest as well. Round 27. I think maybe one will, maybe two. A little bit staggered. So I'm pondering that. The issue with that is I'm using an extra trade there to get to Harry Grant, and Wishart needs to be worth it as that depth piece. But Wishart is much better than Latu Fainu as a scorer. So it could be worthwhile. I'm tossing up two options here. The safer option is probably just use one trade, but that's what I'm kind of considering here. And it looks like Butters, you're in the same boat. So keen on Grant, but it has to be two trades. Yeah, that's a tricky thing. BM mentions it. You got to risk it for pods. I do agree with that. I think you're either the better team and you don't do pod stuff and you just have the better team, or if you're a bit of an outsider, coming up from behind, then you might take a risk on a few pods there. The other thing is loopholes as well. So, if you get Wishart, he's a great loophole this week because he's a bit more bust, and Parramatta's a team that can leak some points. For the rest of the Storm side, King and Otokomanu killed it last week. I have no interest whatsoever in them. Eli Katoa will take a bit of a downturn. Now, historically, he actually hasn't downturned much without Katoa. I think it still happens. I see it happening. And against Parramatta, I think he has his chances to attack, but I'm penciling him in for a 50 average instead of a 55 down the stretch. So I'm taking about 5 points off Eli Katoa across the next 6 weeks, but I don't think we're going to see it this week. I think it'll go well this week. For the rest of the Storm, no real interest here. So let's run through some questions here. Storm only play on Thursday and Friday rest of season. That makes Wishart even more attractive because Wishart is a pure loophole guy. Like he's an attacking six. That's what you want to be doing with him. Mason here, who would you say is the top three best buys possible? I really like Galvin, Grant, and Wishart. They're sort of three I'm talking about here. The best buys are, it's like Isaiah Yo, Nathan Cleary, Terrell May, right? Like they're the best buys. But yeah, I'll go through buy, hold, sell as well. So you get that answer in buy, hold, sell. Two trades left is very low. How good was name that hairline? Oh yeah, in the chat that was funny as. So in Discord, guys, if you're not there, if things get a bit boring, people just start sharing hairlines of players, and you have to guess who it is. So keen on Grant, but it has to be two trades. Yep, Freddie Lussick, a must buy. We'll have a look at him, but it's only 1 week that Egan's out for with their HIA, so I'm going to say no. Hughes to Paddy or Jamal Fogarty. Probably Paddy. I mean, out of those two, Fogarty has that buy coming up. Celessy's break even. Celessi, if you're on the bench, is a sell. AFB to Yo. Yep, it's a decent trade if you have a lot of trades in the bank. LKT down the Wishart. I don't mind that because you get a scorer out of it. Do you think that Penrith players will rest last week of the season? I don't think so. I think they'll be fighting for a top 4 spot, so I don't see it. Chin captain. Yeah, good shout. Prop good. Who's your tip for the spoon this year? Souths are a good chance at it, man. I mean, the Titans beat the Warriors last week. Para beat the Broncos, so they're kind of on the rise here. Newcastle have a bye this week, which is good for them, but they're not looking great. Just missing a lot of troops there, so maybe Newcastle. Parramatta versus Newcastle around 27, so that could be a decider for it. But I think South Sydney are looking pretty good for it, but they have a bye coming up too, so they really just have to get a win. South Sydney, they should be okay. And then Jason's roasting me here. Cutest dog has the opposite attributes to you. White on top, white on top and the chin. White on the chin and black on top. Yeah. No, she's pretty sweet. She was my girlfriend's roommate's dog actually, as a show dog originally, and I was looking for dogs, and then she didn't make it as a show dog and became available, and I was looking at much different kinds of dogs. I was looking at like Rhodesian Ridgebacks and like Staffies and all that, like real man dog. And yep, I knew her for about 6 months, and she was a G. Yeah, not a Shiba Inu, a Finnish Lapland, guys. She's definitely cuter than me, man. All right, let's keep ripping through these teams though, because we got heaps to talk about today, right? So let's keep going through. I'll go trade questions at the end as well. But we got the Warriors and the Dolphins up next. And for the Wars here, Tamari Martin is a really interesting one to come in. So we've got CNK at fullback, DWZ, Pompey, Capewell, RTS in the back line, Tamari Martin and Tanner Boyd in the halves. Forward pack, Valmunga, who's in great form right now. Healy, Ford in the front row. Halasima, Niokore, and Clark in the back row. Tuapiki on the bench with Laban, Freddie Lussick, and Stowers Smith. A weird bench. Okay, I get what you guys are talking about now. That's a pretty strange bench, isn't it? For the Dolphins, We've got Hammer at fullback, Asako, Finai, Herbie, Averillo in the back line. Then we go to Cody Nicarima returning. Great news for Herbie Farmworth, by the way. Now I see why some of you are captaining him because Cody Nicarima feeds Herbie. In the forward pack, after Isaiah Katara at halfback, we have Frankie Molo, Jerry Marshall King, Felice Kafusi. Then we go to Lemuelu, Keely, and Donahue. Interchange is Stone, Tower, Nichols, and Kerr. So we got a pretty, I don't know, there's a few guys we could talk about here. Finns were on a bye last week, so we'll talk about that in a sec. But for the Warriors here, how long is Harris Tavita out for? A lot of you guys are Waz fans, so someone tell me, how long is Harris Tavita out for? So Tamari Martin over, yeah, so calf injury, and Fisher Harris out as well. Calf injury. Okay, Fisher Harris has one good game and then he just bows out. That's frustrating if you had Fisher Harris in your team. Yeah, Harris Tavita, if he's out for a while, Tamari Martin could be a nice little cash out. And so we got some people hoping and praying. Heard Clark back to 65 to 70 minutes. Clark might move to hooker during the game. I don't think he would because Lusick is on the bench as well. They've got two hookers. Warriors changed their bench. Yeah, Ford could be interesting in 60 plus minutes. Ford's a machine. Just I don't trust him, but if you want to do it, you can. Wiles with the greatest lineup ever put in NRL pitch. Round 23 for Harris Tavita. Okay, it's not very long. Yeah, look, you're probably not gonna get on Tamari Martin then just for that 1 week. When Wishart's pretty close in price. Also, Boyd and Tamari Martin, you don't know who's going to be the dominant kicker. Probably going to be Boyd. If you guys know from reserve grade, because they were killing it in reserve grade together, some of you have mentioned, let me know what that combination was like. But I really don't think it's going to be fantasy relevant. So for the Warriors, it's basically just don't panic on Aaron Clark. If you're a Halasima owner, enjoy that. Looks like fun. DWZ is cheap. You know, if you cashed out to him, you just leave him there as a cash out. Tanner Boyd's doing his job. But other than that, the Warriors aren't super interesting. Now, the Dolphins here, we got, if you guys talk about, a lot of you guys want to know about this. Herbie Farmworth as captain. He has killed the Warriors in the past. So, look, maybe an option. I think the fact that Cody Nicarima is back, it definitely brings him back into play. My thing here is I'm not really leaning out of Cleary, Terrell May, Payne Haas as much. So at this stage of the week, I'm kind of thinking that big three is the way to go. But I've got no reason why you wouldn't want to captain Herbie. Like I can't explain it for you. So if you want to go Herbie with Nicarima back, confirming Nicarima plays, right? So if Nicarima's in doubt, I wouldn't do it. But if Nicarima plays, Herbie should be good, and he's killed the Warriors before. So yeah, here we go. Herbie captain spicy. He scored 100 in New Zealand last year by memory. Could happen. Could happen. I don't want to disrespect the Warriors here, but they are missing a few guys. So, no Fisher Harris is a big one for them. Obviously, no Barnett already. Like they're missing a few troops. No Egan. So that forward pack is going to be a bit softer. It's going to be a bit more fatigue. Some smaller bodies in the middle. Herbie Farmworth could pop through the middle. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I'm going to say yes to the Herbie captain. He is one of the 5 guys that will be in the captain conversation for sure. But you got to make your own call there. It's high risk, high reward. He usually doesn't go too low though, so could be a good shout. Herbie's a very similar captain option to like Payne Haas this week. Bit of risk there, but definitely a high reward if you want to do it. Go Herbie, everyone. Cleary making me rank. See, I'm leaning that way as well. I'm probably going to go Cleary. Liam raised a good point here. So Capewell and DWZ are marking Herbie. Fair shout. If you want to captain Herbie, you can. The other guy to mention here is Isaiah Katoa. So if you need a half this week, the easiest trade in the world is Jerome Hughes to Isaiah Katoa. That's it. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. If you have Fiketti out and you want to sell him and you have cash in the bank as well, Isaiah Katoa could be a good target for you too. So, yeah, Isaiah Katoa is a good option. He's still a good option. Nothing's changed there. Cody Nicarima back is good news for Isaiah Katoa as well. So, Broncos v Rabbitohs up next. And for the Broncos and Rabbits, we've got a Friday night game for our Broncos as we are used to. Reece Walsh at fullback, Cobo, Stagg, Shibasaki, and Mariner in the back line. Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds in the halves. And then we've got Willison, Hunt, Haas in the front row. Pierre Kura, Ricky, Carrigan in the back row. Interchanges, Walters, Hetherington, Jensen, and Jezewski for the Broncos. Rabbitohs, we've got Jai Gray keeping the fullback spot. Johnson, Tass, Duncan, Bentley, Hape. Then we go to Whiten and Humphreys in the halves. Whiten, obviously, 3-week suspension. going to the judiciary. Probably not going to get out of that one. Forward pack is Arrow, Gray, Kepi. Then Aitken, Host, Hubner. Bench is Havili, LeBlanc, Fletcher, and Ward. Really interesting here. So for them, Mama Zealous 18th man, Lewis Dodd 19th, Munro 20th, Shakai Mitchell 21. Like, there's some guys who could cause problems for this team if you have guys in your fantasy side. So we'll go back to the Broncos in a sec, but for the Bunnies, I mean, Duncan's a sell. Jai Gray is a high upside pod if you want to take a shot at him at around 400K. He has very good fixtures coming up before his buy in round 26. So he's got this game. He's got three other games with teams who are sort of down the bottom of the table. Broncos, we can count them as down the bottom of the table because there's lost to Parramatta as well. But Jai Gray should be good over the next month of footy. And if you're in a draft league and you're desperate, he is a cracking option for a draft league in particular and not a bad shout if you want to cash out. If you need a wing fullback instead of the half spot, then Jai Gray is kind of like in that same boat as Tyron Wishart. So they're both decent options for you there. For the rest of the back line here, Duncan's a sell. Whiten is probably a sell. Jamie Humphreys is a good target. If you like Humphreys, he's a good target. He's just like that round 26 buy. That's the one thing I worry about. And Latrell Mitchell has not been ruled out for the year either. So if Troll comes back, it ruins Humphreys. He's okay. Then forward pack here, Ryan Gray, as long as he starts in that hooker spot, he's a tackle machine. So if you want to cash out to him, I won't talk you out of it. But the round 26 buy isn't great. And you're not really buying him as a scorer. You probably don't really trust him. I just don't think he does that much of a job for you. And he needs so many minutes to be effective. Ewan Aitken, killing it. Love his work. If you have Aitken, you're enjoying it. If you don't, you're probably not buying him just because of how dodgy South Sydney are right now. You know, if Bentley Habe got hurt, for example, Aitken might move to center, then Tass to wing. Like they just have a lot of problems that could happen for Aitken. So I wouldn't be jumping on myself. And then the rest of the team, I mean, maybe the rookie half on the bench. You ever think about him, but only if Whiten gets charged. Now let's quickly touch on some of the questions here. Carraz as captain. Risky. Houston Donahue is okay. Donahue, it's a bit late, I think, for Donahue. Whoever do you get 54? Really hard to win at Waz Stadium will be a tough game. Houston Donahue. Herbie on Capewell. Yeah, we love the Herbs. All right, let's keep rolling down. Carraz at fullback. We'll talk about him in a sec as well. Jackson Ford. I just get a real player. I think he's a pod for the sake of potting. Like he's been good, but it's just too much risk that I don't know. He's okay. It's kind of like Loero last week where I was sort of like, oh, I can't tell you why, but nah. I feel the same way about Jackson Ford. Like Loero, they're sort of in that same basket together. Olakawatu, just sort of like, they're just not that guy. Then Broncos drop both wingers. So yeah, Cobbo and Mariner are probably the better two wingers as well. If you just look at pure talent, they're total freaks. So they could be red hot in this game. Put Duncan in the second row forward. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Munster and Grant a pickup. I think Grant is more of a pickup than Munster. I think Munster was ahead of Grant before the Hughes injury, but Hughes pushes Grant ahead now. Kaloa for Herbie, or Kaloa and Fiketti to Preston and Firma. I'd go Kaloa for Herbie. I think it's pretty straightforward there, as long as you don't have to play Fiketti. We ran Galvin as a starting half for the run home. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's cool. Surely we see pre-Mitchell, Humphreys, and Jai. I think we will, as long as the troll stays out for the year, but there's no guarantee of that. Then, yeah, cool. That's pretty straightforward. So, look, no one's super interested in the Rabbitohs here, which is good. So let's keep ripping through. We'll jump to the next game. We got the Titans and the Panthers. Titans fresh off upsetting the Warriors. Panthers got their win versus the Tigers last week. For the Titans, Brimmer, fullback, DeGroot, Kelly, Fafita, Sami. Then we got Foran and Jaden Campbell. Forward pack is Fodawaker, Verrills, Jolliffe. Then we have Alec Yankee, Firma, and Haas. Interchange is Weaver, Campbell Gillard, Isaac Fonsali, and Patston. So, Titans. Yeah, again, this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to skim past these guys pretty quick, but look, Jaden Campbell has been on the buy list for a few weeks now. He pumped out that 80 plus last week. He is very cheap. He is probably a must-have. I would say he's probably at the top of the buy list. If you don't have Jaden Campbell now, you have a golden opportunity. Go get him. This is the time. I don't know if he scores well against the Panthers this week, but just more generally, he's a keeper for the run home. Then for the rest of the forwards here, Jolliffe is good at the moment without Tino. You could make some case about him being good. If we were in round 12, I'd be buying Jamin Jolliffe today. But we're in round 22. It's just not the right time for him for me. Bo Firma is still a keeper. So if you want him, you can go get him. Just the form has not been good lately. For the Panthers, Edwards fullback is a fun one. If you want a pod, especially in this matchup, then Jenkins, Tungo, McLean, To'o. To'o again, a pod if you want to jump on him. Halves are Talangi and Cleary. Cleary must have. Go get him, captain him, all that sort of jazz. I'm probably captaining Cleary this week. Forward pack is Leota, Kenny, Smith, and then Garner, Martin, Yo. Interchange is Schneider, Henry, Patea, and Papali. So going back to Cleary, he's sort of that guy, right? Like I think he's going to be good for the run home. He's absolutely feasted the last couple of weeks, and his Titans matchup is very attractive for Nathan Cleary. So I think we're going to see him rack up some attacking stats and make a few busts. And I'm probably captaining Cleary this week, guys. For the forward pack here, it's really just Isaiah Yo. Bit of concern about his minutes last week. I'm definitely a bit worried about that, but the PPM was awesome. So we're just going to ride the wave with him. Bench here for the Panthers is a bit full though. So I'm really not interested in anyone else in this team, even Lindsay Smith here, because you have Liam Henry who can eat up minutes, Pateo who's been in great form this year, and Isaiah Papali'i who, he can steal some minutes as well. So again, pretty straightforward, these two teams here. Let's just quickly hit on any questions we got here, and then we'll jump to the next game because I know there's a few of you guys who are very interested in some Cowboys players. So Captain Chin versus the Titans. Yeah. Ross King did say JC pod captain last week when I asked, hey, mate, should have done it. Should have done it. I mean, Cleary scored 75, so it wasn't too far off. Lara just disappeared. Edwards, a must-have for the run home. Not a must-have. No, not a must-have. But a fun option, a pod, slightly undervalued. So if it suits your team, you can get him, but he's not a must-have. Hughes and Duncan to Yo and Preston, or Angus Crichton. So Hughes and Duncan to Yo and Preston. I'd go Yo and Preston, man. I think it's the best play. Jolly or Hopgood for a head-to-head matchup. Probably Jolliffe or Hopgood. Hopgood's probably got the safer role, I would say, at this stage. But Jolliffe has a bit more upside. I'm going to say Jolliffe. I'll say Jolliffe. I think he's got a bit more scoring in him. Then 4 trades left. Savala to Campbell, absolutely yes. And Duncan to Preston, absolutely yes. Good trades. AFB to Yo, 4 trades left. I wouldn't do it myself, no. Hughes to Isaiah Katoa or Hughes and Fiketti to Yo and Galvin. I would run the 2 trades. Yeah, I'd run the 2 trades. You got 7 left, so I'd run the double, man. Yo's minutes should be fine. Panthers had the game won easily. The issue is they have this game won easily as well against the Titans, most likely. So they got some pretty easy matchups. So he might get more rest going forward. Latu Fino and Fiketti to Wishart and Nakora. Nah. It's Nakora's kind of mid, man. Like I think you want to go. I mean, if you need to do 2 trades, maybe Wishart and Galvin or something like that. Like that's probably what I'd be looking for there instead. Who's the best buy? Izzy Katoa, Grant, or Yo? Yo is the safest option. Grant's the value. Katoa is great as well. I'm probably going to say Yo is the best option there. Cook Hughes, Mark for Grant, Katoa, Galvin. Do you need to make all those trades? Like if you've got 4 trades left, only make trades that impact your 17, right? Because you're burning quite a few trades there. Now let's keep ripping through because we've got a few more guys here, a few more things to talk about. And I'll do so. I think we'll do a long trade questions at the end. So for Dragons v Raiders, I just want to quickly ask: is anyone tipping the Dragons in this game? If anyone's tipping the Dragons in this game, let me know because I reckon the Raiders get up in this one. So Dragons, Gutho fullback. We got Sloan, Sully, Feeney, Allen, King Tonga, Flanagan in the halves there. Forward pack is Gula, Cook, Clemmer, then Leilua, Michael Molo, and Bellin. Interchange is Little, Stewart, Sele, and Laurie. Now, if you're on a Dragons player here, you are probably looking at them thinking, oh, when do I sell them? They kind of suck because that's what Dragons players have been doing for fantasy this year, especially recently. You might have Jaden Sewer. That's a sell, 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously, Toby Couchman, we loved him deeply, but he's out for the year as well. So for the Dragons, King Tonga is one that you can sell if you need to, but don't force it. The rest of the back line is pretty much completely irrelevant. Cook is a thorn in your side right now. He's a sell. Luciano Leilua and Michael Molo are kind of interesting-ish if you were really desperate and you didn't have any money at all. Leilua is probably going to get 80 minutes now that Sua's out. And Michael Molo, just on Michael Molo, let me show you some numbers here because this is a real underground pod. But Michael Molo, if you're in a draft league, go get Michael Molo right now because he could win you the finals potentially. So minutes over 70 for Michael Molo, one game this year, round 18, 62 points. That was made up of 49 tackles, one tackle break, 115 run meters, nothing else, right? So can he go out there and get 49 tackles, 115 meters against the Raiders? Probably. Might miss a few tackles. But for Michael Molo, it's a good PPM. If we go by position here, second row, it's only one game he's ever started in the second row. His overall historical numbers in general are a 31 in 35 minutes. So yeah, no attacking stats really, just sort of base there. 35 minutes, 24 tackles kind of thing. Like he's got a big defensive work rate. Michael Molo at 457K. If you're feeling brave, if you're feeling real brave, it's a pod that I like quite a bit at that price. So up to you. Up to you. It's like, I'm probably not going to do it myself, but Michael Molo could be a guy you look at. Now for the Raiders here, because we're not going to look at the bench for the Dragons, but for the Raiders, we got KO Wicks at fullback, Jed Stewart, Tomoko, Chris Savage in the back line there, then Strange and Fogarty in the halves. Forward pack is Papali'i, Starling, Tarpanay. Then we got Young, Hosking, Horsburgh. Interchanges Paddy, Sungy, Smithies, and Marietta. So basically, with these Raiders players, you're in the back line, you're hoping for attacking stats, obviously. It's really just Fogarty. But you're not buying too many of these guys right now because of that buy coming up very soon, round 24. So I'm going to say no to buying any of the guys in the back line there. Forward pack, I pretty much feel the same way. Hudson Young, you could take a shot at if you want to. I think Hudson Young could be one of the top scorers of the week this week, by the way. So Dragons play a very simple brand of footy, a lot of tackles on offer, very simple, easy tackle count for Hudson Young. And you throw in the big attacking plays potentially here. I'm not sure if he's up against Luciano Leilua or Michael Molo. I need to look into that. But I think Hudson Young could be one of the top scorers this round. And if I had Hudson Young, I'd be thinking about captaining him. I'd be very strongly thinking about captaining him. The risk here is Simi Sungi's on the bench and they could run up a score, get ahead, and you might get a rest. Now, for the rest of the Raiders forward pack here, if you're a Tarpanay owner, you're not happy, but this is a good matchup. Like, it should be pretty simple, straight up the middle. Again, a bit of defense to do. Also, potential for some attacking plays. So the Dragons' middle forward rotation is pretty weak right now. You've got Jack DeBellin, who is dealing with a few injuries as well. Didn't look himself last week. They're fragile. So Tarpanay could have a big attacking day. I'm hoping Tarpanay bounces back. And I sort of looked at Tarpanay. I thought, maybe I could loophole him this week, but really, the range of scores has been in the 40s recently, right? So he's been in that sort of 40 to 50 range. And if I loophole him and he scores me a 44, I'm just gonna be looking at that thinking, like, do I take that or not? You know what I mean? So I think Tarpanay is one you just leave in your 17 and you loophole with the more high upside guys like Wishart, Galvin, these types of players instead, Turbo, all that sort of thing. So I'm leaving Tarpanay in my 17. I'm not trading him. I've got 5 trades left. So to give you an indicator of how I feel about Tarpanay, I think if you have 5 trades left, you're probably not selling Joey Tarpanay. Corey Horsburgh, he's dropping off with his scoring as well. PPM's not been good lately. I think his potential is a tier below Tarpanay's, so I'm a bit more open to selling him, but I think most teams probably shouldn't be selling a guy like him either. And then for the bench, nothing to talk about there. Now, Saturday night, Seagulls v Roosters, and this is probably going to be more interesting to you guys. Now I'll go through some questions. But for the Seagulls, we got Hopewadi, Sub, Kohler, Turbo, Garrick in the back line, Brooks, Trey Evans in the halves. Forward pack is Lodge, Jazz, Takyaho. Then we go to Waddell, Trebojevic, and Trebojevic in the back row. Interchange is Simpkin, Talau, Bullimore, Sipley. And for the Roosters, Tedesco, Tupou, Billy Smith, Toya, Noani Tuase in the back line. Hugo Savala returns in the halves with Sam Walker. Forward pack is White, Watson, Collins in the front row, Crichton, Wong, Butcher in the back row. Interchange, Iolu, Steep, Fichetti, and Lenu. So before I get into these guys, I'll answer some questions here, just see what we got popping up in the chat. Would you play Firma or Turbo as 17th man? No loopers. probably firmer this week. Turbo went down with a bit of an injury last week. That worries me a little bit as a Turbo owner. So I'm just going to say go a bit safer and go Bo firmer. For Ketty and Purdue, it's Joash and basically anyone. Good shout. If you can just go direct for Ketty to someone as well, that's also a good option and you save one trade. But with 7 trades left, I'd do the 2. Hines going 80 plus. Mate, I hope so. Duncan, is he a sell? Yes, he is. Any pod? Heaps of pods. Man, I mentioned in pods as we go, 100%. Pod section will be juicy this week. There's some fun pods. Got the C on Cleary, but you think Titans are going to win? Okay. I wouldn't mind that if the Titans won and Cleary got a big score. I'd be cool with that. All the tips are coming through on that Dragons game. No one, no one. Here we go. Here we go. William Murphy. Shout out to Will here, tipping the Dragons. Lamar, diehard fan. Good on you, Will. Frost King as well. He's backing it. There will be some upsets this week for sure. Nakora is the man. He's going to get 80. Captain him. Man, that's very brave. That's very brave. Staunch Raiders fan. Hell no on Sportsbet. As Canberra. Yeah, okay. Canberra fans are a bit worried here. All right. There's a bit of love for the Dragons. That's cool. Had Gutho stuck in my team for 10 plus weeks. He was terrible through the midseason. Really bad for fantasy. Should I get Preston or Kraz? I own both. I think they're both really good. Just have a look at what your team needs. It's going to be about team needs. Like they're both really good options. I think Kraz is in better form, but Preston's pretty safe as well. Molo, big pod. Yeah, big pod, guys. Big pod. Agree. Bought Jaden Sewer last week. That's so hard. You got the pod and you got burnt there. Strange for captain. No way. Selling Tarpanay. No, no, no. Garrick and Fichetti to Wishat and Yo. I love those trades. Do not rate Nakora from the Sharks. I think he's low key a pod. He's okay. He needs big attacking plays to go well, and his ceiling is a bit low. Like the work rate's not great, so I'm not a keen fan on Nakora. Nakora's more that guy that I like in like the mid-season rather than end game. Sell Shane Flanagan. Captain Izzy Kitsoa, not a bad shout. I don't mind that. Preston or Gus Crichton? I'd go Preston. Gus Crichton's been showing signs, but Preston's been a bit safer. Just like to say, I watched the Raiders game on the weekend, and Tarpanay had 2 offloads to hand on the weekend, not 1. Bro got robbed of 4 points. Yeah, look, they've been pretty average recently with a bit of the scoring and, with the game. Like, lockout was really slow as well. I'm a bit frustrated with it too, if I'm being completely transparent, Jared. There's definitely been a bit of a slip in the standards recently. Raiders have won the last 5 head-to-head versus the Dragons. Yep, that's a good stat to have. Would wait a week on Fichetti, but I'm holding to the end. Cook to Grant. Yes, I think this is a good trade, man. 100%. All right, cool. Then anything else we got here? Grant or Brayley is interesting. I think Grant is better value. I think they're very similar scorers down the stretch. Grant gets a big uptick with Hughes out. That's a big thing. Then 2 trades left, but have Fichetti. Just keep him. If Ficchetti's in your 17, sell him. If not, keep him. Sell Fichetti with 3 trades left. If he's in your 17, sell him. If not, keep him. Basically, if it impacts you start scoring 17, you sell the guy. If they're outside of the 17, you wait. That's my advice on that basically every time. Any interest in Wong again? Nah, not quite a keeper. And for Katie to Molo, if you want to pot up, I'm not against that at all. Now, for the Seagulls v Roosters here, let's hit this one. So Lihai Hopewadi back to a bit of form last week. He is, I don't know, he sort of shows these signs where he looks okay, and then he hasn't been great recently. But at some point, I think Lihai Hopewadi will be interesting. Maybe in the future, maybe next year. Kohler, quiet sub. Turbo was very solid last week. We'll keep starting Turbo as long as we can, but Turbo ends up in my 18th man spot this week. So if I'm going to have a look at it, I may end up loopholing Turbo this week for Galvin potentially, who plays after him. I'll give it a proper look, but yeah, if Turbo needs to be in your starting team, then that's okay as well. I'd sort of pencil him in as like a 45 in this game. I think this will be a tougher matchup. I worry a bit about his knee. Like that's sort of all I'm going to throw in there. I think he's like pencil him in for a 45. If you need to start him, it's okay to do it, but don't be starting him over other guys. Is my advice there. For the Garrick situation, 2 more weeks of tough matchups, and it gets easier. If you have him now, I'd probably hold him at this stage. Cherry Evans, fun little pod if you're so inclined. Forward pack for Manly is a wasteland. I have no interest in any of it. Tommy Talau in jersey 15, free Talau. Bring him back into the starting side. That's all I have to say about that. For the Roosters, Tedesco's been out of form, but I wouldn't panic. Don't sell him, money, that sort of thing. Billy Smith comes back. Rob Toya, a bit quiet lately. Noni Tuase, very quiet lately. Uh, Nawa, you could hold or sell. Like it's very hard to predict what Mark Noni Tuase is going to do, guys. Like he has big fluke attacking plays every second week. That's kind of his scoring profile. So do you think he's going to have those? Do you think the Roosters are going to beat Manly in this game? Do you think they're going to beat them well? That's kind of the question that you have to answer. I can't really tell you. Like if I had Nawa, I'd probably hold him out of stubbornness personally. But if you want to sell him, I'm okay with that as well. Only if you have a lot of trades though. Savala was a sell a while ago. I still would probably move him on if I was you. Sam Walker, not that interested. Forward pack, Connor Watson is still a goer. Nafahu White, you keep him as long as you need to, really. If you need to sell him, I'm okay with that. But against Manly this week could be some attacking plays for him. Gussie Crichton, could be a good day out here. Could be a good day out for Gus Crichton. I expect to see a bit more out of him. He's sort of been scoring that low to mid 50s the last 3 weeks. So we could see a bit of a breakout for Gus potentially against Manly, who are a bit fragile. Saul Wong, wouldn't be targeting him. I just think he's a tier below being a keeper. And you sort of already got your team full of those guys. And if you want a guy like that, you can get a cheaper one. And then the bench, Fichetti, I think, is a sell off the bench. Now, Ficchetti's not a great PPM guy. His average and reserve grade in lock and second row is about 40 in 75 minutes. He overperformed for us as a starter, which we love him for, but it's now time to move on from Celesi Fichetti. Clearly hit some questions here. I just want to mention you are the man. Thank you, mate. No worries. Yeah, no, I'll take, guys. If anyone sees me at a bar, I will take that offer. A free beer, I will take from anyone. That's always up. And if you want to show me your fantasy team, I feel like it happens every week or so. Someone pops up in public. Fichetti and Jazz for Wishart and Campbell. Good trades there. Smash it. Cook to Campbell, Marky Mark to Presto, and Hughes to Katoa. Yeah, these are good trades. I'm okay with those trades. It leaves you a bit low, but I'm okay with them. Hughes and Isaiah Katoa Hughes to Isaiah Katoa or Hughes to Karaz? I'd probably go Katoa if you're a bit light in the halves there. I think it's the better play. AFB or Tarpanay for 17 no loopers. I'm believing in Tarpanay this week. Fichetti and AFB to Wishart and Herbie. Wishart and Herbie. Also, that was the dog that turned the light back on. Good on her. Wishart and Herbie. Yeah, I think these are okay trades. AFB to Herbie, though, it's a bit like it's an upgrade. So I'll say yes, but have a look around at some other options there. 2 trades left: Fisher Harris to Hopgood and Fichetti to someone. I 2 trades left. I'd probably be try to keep both if you can, and try to save those trades as much as you possibly can. Molo should be good up against Young. I should be up against Young. Yeah, not great news for Molo, but probably good news for Young. Is Hughes to Katoa an easy trade? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is Marky Mark starved to the ball? Yeah. If he doesn't get any ball, that's going to be tough. I agree with that. And would you play Turbo or Teddy? I've got Teddy over Turbo. There's generally some calls you kind of have to. You sort of want to look at your team and just pre-make some calls. So a guy like Tedesco, for example, I never really consider him a bench option. I just leave him in my starting side. And he's been out of form lately, but he's gonna have his big days. This game against Manly could be a big day for him. I just leave him in. Like it's not really a conversation I sort of entertain when it comes to benching Tedesco. Turbo is more on that fringe, so maybe Turbo over Drinkwater, for example. Like I see them more in the same tier, but I think Teddy is a tier above, so I think you have to sort of give him that respect. And then wish fart, just had to leave that one in. Always love a little fart pun on a player name. Now we'll keep rolling through. So Sunday we got Tigers v Bulldogs at 2 p.m. We have the Sharks v Cowboys at 4 p.m. and that'll be our done and dusted. So for Tigers v Dogs, Dream Buller is our fullback for the Tigers. Taruva goes back to the wing. Taylor May, Toa, Skelton. Then we have Luai and Fainu in the halves. Do we have Fainu in the halves? Fainu got a rest for the last 15 minutes of the last game. So I don't know. I don't know if I trust this. Forward pack, Terrell May, Coruscant, Twal in the front row. Fainu, Seyfarth, and Dewey in the lock spot there. Interchange is Fainu, Hunt, Pole, and Suka. So for the Tigers here, Frustrating one last week. They really got shut out by the Panthers. Latu Finu is a sell. 12 meters run last week. Just, he made a lot of tackles in that game, but unless he goes back to the lock spot, he's just not getting involved enough. And I think at some point this year it'll turn around and Benji will say to him, "Hey mate, run the ball for 100 meters today." And he'll go and do it. And he's a freak and he'll rack up some points, but it just isn't happening. And I feel like Luai is not a great halves partner for some of these younger guys either. Like it just sort of feels like they're both not playing, their natural style. And for Fino, I feel like his natural style is playing direct. He's not Jerome Hughes, but playing a bit of that Jerome Hughes style where he plays really direct, he runs the ball hard, feeds guys on the front foot and plays like that. And for Luai, it's more that running across field offloads, crab runs, cheeky grubber kicks, all that sort of thing. And we're not seeing him do that either. So they're sort of playing this style that doesn't play into their strengths. So for that reason, I'm basically writing off the entire Tigers backline here. The forward pack, it's really just Terrell May. The captain Terrell May. The Dogs can miss a few tackles. They can play it up the middle, play a simple style. I think the Dogs will beat the Tigers well in this game. That's my view on this. I think Galvin will fire up for it as well. But at the same time, they're missing Connor Tracy. Kraz goes to fullback. They haven't been convincing lately, so maybe it stays close enough. If you want to captain Terrell May, totally reasonable option. He's probably the safest captain for this week. Adam Dewey, meh, 60 minutes, kind of meh. Like he's like a 50 guy. I'm not jumping on. Then for the Dogs here, Kraz at fullback, we have Renakama on the wing with Zeri, Crichton, Tuala. Then we go to Burton and Galvin in the halves. Forward pack is King, Marnie, Hughes. Then we have kick out Preston, Salmon. Interchange, we got Mann, Hayes, Curran, and Hayward. So for Kraz at fullback, again, I'll just grab the numbers here. Because Kraz played some fullback for Lebanon back in the day. I remember watching it, and it was pretty fun to watch. Is it in footy statistics? It probably isn't in footy statistics, to be honest. But by position, fullback. One game last year, 34, 175 meters run, 4 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, no attacking stats. I'm not reading into that too much. Like, I don't think that's a big deal. I thought we might have a bigger sample size. So, yeah, for Karaz at fullback, I think it'd be fine. I wouldn't go captaining him. I'm not penciling him in for a massive score, but at the same time, Tigers matchup, he should go well. He is a monster right now. I think though, like my outlook for Karaz doesn't change at fullback compared to wing, and on the wing, I'd be saying he could go 80 plus. So it doesn't really change. Like at fullback, I'm viewing it the exact same way. I don't think he's safer. You saw that 34 last year, so Karaz is good. But fullback doesn't change him compared to wing, in my view, just yet. If you guys think differently, by the way, let me know. You could be right, by the way. So some of you guys are throwing it out there. Dongy, Kraz for captain. If you believe it, you can. Like really, we don't know. We don't know. We've seen like Kraz was awesome at fullback for Lebanon. The few times I saw him there, he played one game last year. His average. If the Dogs win, Kraz will probably be a big part of it. Could be a beast. Could be a beast. Could offload a bunch. Could be awesome. We don't know. Like you've kind of got to take a speculator here. So if you want to captain Karaz, you're going to be one of about 0.1% of people who do it. You'll have the megapod. You'll either have a terrible time or you'll have a great time with that. It's just up to whether you want to take that risk. The rest of the back line here, Renakama is not a bad shout if you're desperate, but kind of meh. Then Zeri, Crichton, Twala, Burton, Galvin. And Burton and Galvin, they were both good last week, both big run meters there. I still like Galvin. I still don't mind Burton as well. But Galvin is a great option this week. He's a really good option. Tigers matchup is good. He has some tougher matchups coming up, but I don't think the matchups really impact him too much. So I see Galvin going well this week and being a good buy. For the forward pack here, Max King is kind of mid, not really on my radar. Marnie not getting the minutes. Don't fall for Hughes. Kick out and Preston, they're fun. Preston's definitely the bigger keeper of the two, I think. Good work rate last week. We need to see some attack opening up for Preston, but it's getting there. Right, it's getting there. He's looking better every week recently. And then for the bench, kind of meh here. So I'll hit some questions, but pretty straightforward this set here. Luai going to take Lockie's head off. That's actually going to be fun in this game. So we'll see. We'll see if Luai and Taruva can take the heat they were applying in their cyberbullying and then apply it in this in this matchup here. No, seriously though, it would be good to see. Like if Galvin absolutely smacked Luai, or if Luai absolutely smacked Galvin, or whatever it is, I'm here for it. It's gonna be good entertainment. We're doing 3 trades be too much with 6 trades left. It's pretty much the maximum of what I'd allow for you. Yeah, so up to you. Olakwatu for Noah Blake. It's okay. It's okay. Noah Blake's kinda falling off a bit right now. Hughes for Grant and for Keddy for Preston. Love it. Banger trades. Pull the trigger. Hey, Longy, UK viewer here. Good to see you, mate. What time is it in the UK? I think it's in the morning, isn't it? It's like it'd be like 7 a.m. in the UK, right? That's pretty 6 a.m. Pretty early, man. You're dedicated. First year playing fantasy, currently ranked 1500, mate. No worries. Happy to help. Don't get too good though, because you're not that far behind me, so I don't want you overtaking me. Then Carrigan or Watson. Personal preference here. Personal preference. Carrigan is the safer option. Watson has more attacking upside. I like Watson myself for the dual position, but you're good with whatever you want to do. What's so good about Wishart? Great question. So Wishart is a 47 average playing in the halfback spot. So the 5'8" spot. I think he's a similar average at halfback, but he's sort of that mid 40s average when he plays in the halves in first grade. So you got him at 300K, averaging mid 40s. Basically a cash out who you can score some weeks. They play on Thursday and Friday most games, so he's a great loophole option every week too. Just a very strong, cheap option down the stretch. So he's kind of like a cheaper version of Galvin, not quite as good a scorer. That's what I like about Wishart. I'm very strongly considering Wishart this week. Would you score Galvin versus Tigers in your 17 or Meany versus Eels? Definitely Galvin versus Tigers. Imagine if this game was at Leichhardt. Oh, that would be so good. That would be so good. They should have done that. Where is this game? I bet you it's at like some super stadium, isn't it? Because even like you take this game to like Leichhardt, Campbelltown, or Belmore, add a bit of fire to it. That would have been good. Gavin going to get put to sleep early. Bring the heat. I love it. Fichetti and Garrick for Hudson and Wishart is a great pair of trades. What are your views on Hopgood? If the minutes stay up, he's pretty good. I think there's a bit of risk in it, but Parramatta don't have many options in the middle forward rotation. So I think Hopgood's going to be good down the stretch. Izzy or Presto? Probably Izzy, I would say. 3 trades left. Would you go Hughes and Fichetti to Boyd and Young, or just Hughes and Qatar? If it impacts your 17, then do both trades. If it doesn't, just do the one. Like that's like basically everyone goes. That's going to be my advice to you. Does it impact your scoring 17? If not, just do the one trade. Keep it simple. Humphreys or Wishy? Wishy is the safer scorer. Doesn't have a buy coming up as well. Humphreys has the higher upside. So you got to make a call based on those two. And then let's quickly hit these. Best edge buy for run home. Probably Preston, I would say. Obviously Hudson Young's the best, but he has that buy coming up. Kai Pispol has a buy this week. It's a bit of personal preference there. Joey Tarpanay for Homolele Kawatu. No. Oh, wait. No, you're buying Tarpanay? Yeah, you can do that. Then Garrick for Edwards. Otherwise, have to cash down. Use 2 trades. Someone decent. Garrick for Edwards is fine. I'm cool with that. Horse to Grant. You have a lot of hookers already. Too many hookers. Yeah, too many hookers, man. Don't understand the Galvin shout with Katoa, Cleary, Fogarty, and Campbell is just to free up cash. Really, Galvin is just, getting a keeper for 500K. That's really the appeal of him, right? So if a team is low on cash or they're selling for Keddy or whatever it is there, they can do one trade. So it's just depth, basically. Like he's like that 17th, 18th man type of player, as opposed to the other guys who are genuine starters. It's at Combank. There we go. Yeah, nah, look, maybe they'll fill it. Maybe they'll fill it. But yeah, I don't know. I like suburban grounds, man. Like I love a suburban ground, but that's just me. Then we got the Sharkies and the Cowboys here last game. So we got Kennedy at fullback, Katoa on the wing spot there. Then we go through to Ramey and Talakai, Mulatalo, Trindle and Hines in the halves. AFB, Brayley, Kafusi, Nikora, Wilton, McInnes is the forward pack there. Atkinson, Colhoun, Burns, Hamanuele in interchange spots. For the Cowboys, Drinkwater, Derby, Purdue, Laybut, Burns. Then Clifford and Dearden in the halves. So back to Clifford. Forward pack here is Edwards, Robson, Neem in the front row. Bateman, Nanai, Cotter in the back row. And we got Bitangane. Someone tell me how to pronounce that. Marley. I'm going to call him Marley for now. So Marley, Lars, O'Donnell, and Hess on the bench. For these two teams, A lot of guys that we're sort of on the fringe with, and here we go. Here we go. Like he does didn't have aura. He does. He does. I know. I'm 31. It's cringe for me to use the terminology, but I just gotten back from camp with a bunch of year 10, year 11, year 12 kids. Doing some like youth work stuff. But so I pick up the terminology. That's the problem when I'm out there. But yeah, Dearden really does. Like Tommy Dearden's playing with a confidence and an energy and an aggression and a physicality that you just can't bet against right now. And he comes up against the Sharks, who have kind of been a bit half-hearted recently. So I could just see Dearden tearing them apart. He's a great option, but the Cowboys have that buy in round 27. I already have Drinkwater. I don't want to have two players with a buy in round 27. Also, with all the restings that'll come up as well. So I'm not going to do it. But if you want to, if you want to jump on a guy that's a super pod, Dearden's not a bad shout at all, man. Not a bad shout. You bought Marley in for a looper. He's been selected. That is so funny. I did tell you to get someone who's dual position, man. I told you to get a dual position guy. Drinkwater, score prediction in this game, like a 45 is what I'd say. Nobody trading Dearden. He is my super pod. He will stay very poddy, by the way, but he was a big scorer last week. Hughes to Dearden and Fiketti to Molo. Pod up. Don't mind it, man. You're podding up. Longy Aura plus 1 million, mate. I'll take it. I'll take any Aura I can get. We got Hughes to Yo. Looks like my only trade for this week. Bang. Smash it. EA has plenty. Putting on the Blues. Yeah, he smashed the Blues, man. He did. He really did. Dearden, Presto, or Izzy. I mean, Katoa's the safe one. Preston's a good option, and Dearden's the super pod. So you kind of got to go. You got to look at this and just make your call, right? At this stage of the year, like you've sort of seen the guy for the year. Like you're betting on a 6-week stretch, which is a small amount of time, and you're just kind of going, all right, I think this is the form they're in. I think this is who they are. I think they're going to win these matchups. You got to kind of take a gut feel with this final stretch. Loop Turbo with Drinky or AFB. Probably Drinky, I would say. Couldn't be bothered to reverse everything. Fair play. Any Knights players target this week with the loop option? You could do Kai Pierce Paul. He's a good option. You could take a look at. I mean, who else is there? Maybe McEwen's kind of mid, a bit expensive. Probably just Kai Pierce Paul, really. That's who I've got. Would you consider getting Luai at this stage over Galvin? No, Luai has been pretty hopeless, man. I was a believer in Luai. I was actually going to buy Luai, by the way, round 16, but they got picked for Origin, and he was flying before that. Then Origin sort of knocked his confidence off. So I'm not seeing it for Luai this year. I think he's an option I might look at round 1 next year, though. Best mid for the run home, other than Yo, Haas, or May. Other than Yo, Haas, or May, who else is there? I've got like AFB and Tarpanay, but they're not great. It's probably like Connor Watson's a fun one. Just have a look at the list and take a shot. Trade Drinky. Nah, I wouldn't do it. Who's the vibiest out of Yo, Katoa, Dearden, and Fox? I mean, I can answer that. Who's the vibiest? It's definitely Dearden. Dearden is the vibiest of the vibes. Like he's the one to go for if you're going for vibes. Hughes and Fiketti to Grant and Jolliffe. Yeah, that's a fun potty option there. Go the Chugs from Nathan Webster. Do you think Eli Katoa's score dip with Hughes out? So historically they don't, but I think they will. My feel is they will, but the historical numbers are that they don't. Paddy for sure, Paddy Carrigan. Tipping the cows with Dearden Masterclass. Remember this on Thursday. I sold AFB for Yo this week. Aaron Clark. Yeah, Clark's kind of fallen off. He's getting a bit tired, I think. He's had to do a lot of work recently. How will Purdue score this week? Like a turdu. 35 points again, I'm sure. Then we got Finer to Papali'i and Fiketti to Young. Pretty good shout there. Or Finer to Wishart and Fiketti to Grant. I'd probably go Wishart and Grant. I think you get 2 scorers out of that as opposed to just the one. Duncan to Grant. Yep, like it. And do I start Storm Katoa? Yes, you do against Parramatta. All right, guys, that's me done and dusted for team list. That's just under an hour. I always think like this week will be a bit shorter. We got a bit less to cover, and we always end up taking ages. Although, admittedly, at the start of the year, we were doing like 2-hour streams. So this is a bit shorter. But cheers, guys, for jumping on. Buy, hold, sell will come out as usual tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We still do trade advice on Wednesday. The Thursday show, cracker. If you haven't checked that one out, it's 6:30 to 7:30 on Thursday. We go live. Turtles and Rob jump on as well. Always a really fun show. That's where I reveal my captain and my trades for the week and everything as well. So I'll see you guys there. Good luck this week. Use those trades, but not too many. Cheers, everyone.